Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Heroic Division pre-show for this week. I'm going to admit I threw this together a little bit quickly here, but I think we got our bases covered. We'll quickly run over the teams again, give you guys a reminder, because there is a little bit of a switch up that happened, but we have... Oh, by the way, Goon's joining me. I should let you know. Hey, Goon, how's it going? It's been a long day for you. You're coming right off the back of HRCS cast.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long day for 30K. I'm not casting tonight. I'm not casting with you.
No. Lupus is casting with me. Goon's just here for the pre-show to chill, chat about these teams. But we have 30K Violet here. DGen M, Dragon Strike, just kidding, they withdrew. So all of their matches will now be forfeits for the rest of the season, which means some teams are going to have even more off weeks because this division already had buys since there's an uneven number of teams. And now with the one that's withdrawn, there's going to be additional weeks where teams aren't going to have to play as often. We have Imagine, Rook Gaming, Big Push Power, Bronze 6, the Seven Rings, Caffeinated Knights, Team Happy Cloud, and Vendetta to round out the division. A lot of these teams we've been seeing in HRCS, Goon. Have you any good things seen? Anything you want to shout out you might have seen in some of the games over the last couple weekends?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't watched Vendetta or Vendetta 2, but excuse me. 30K Violet, today they're playing today, by the way, off of an HRCS run. They beat the Man Chickens in a 2-1 series, and they went down 0-2 to Smudge Business. So they're grinding. They're putting in some work. Absolutely. Now, I will say, I wonder if the change in tank and stuff like that is going. There's some strange communication things that I think that are happening, and I'm wondering how that is going to affect them now that they have Nagram on the tank for the rest of this season. Against the tough teams, they look one way. Against not so stiff competition, they look a lot stronger. But I wonder if that tilt is going to become a factor. If there's going to be tilt that's a factor in these Heroic Division games, and if they take an L at some point, what that does to them. That is what I'm most worried about. Rook Gaming had a good weekend. They were playing with 2 subs. They were playing with Marlowe and Deadwish in HRCS this weekend. I don't know if that's going to apply for NGS specifically, but that was happening there. But yeah, what else am I missing here? Big Push Power. I think that the experience that they're getting from HRCS is definitely going to be helping them. I hope that they can sit down and break down that information, those losses, those games, and kind of apply those fixes to Heroic Division here.
I think right now in Heroic Division, Big Push Power is just like straight up scaling. They've played their most difficult teams, and now we're gonna see them. I said this a couple weeks ago when we did the Heroic pre-show, is we're gonna kind of see them start to climb the standings. And let's go take a look at those standings right now. Big Push Power is still down there in 7th place, but I will say this last week for week 5, they 2-0'd Team Happy Cloud. For week 4, they 2-0'd DGen M. And in week 3, they 2-1'd Rook Gaming. So they're kind of 3 weeks now in a row of wins, and they just need to get the rest of their games in and get some more points on the board. I think we're going to see them start to steadily climb up here. Before, other weeks when we were looking at this division standing, they were right down with 7 rings at the bottom of the board. So they're already starting to pop up there a little bit. One thing to take note of here, 30K Violet, right now, they're down in 6th, but that's just simply because they don't have as many matches played. They currently only have 3 matches played because one of those is the Dragon Strike forfeit, and 1 week they had a bye. So on record, they only have 3 series played. They're getting their 4th in tonight, and that'll kind of get them in around the same amount of series as the rest of the division, who are either at 4, 5, or 6 series, depending on whether or not they have their bye yet and stuff like that. So we have Rook Gaming currently at the top of the standings. They've lost a couple matches along the way and 1 series Big Push Power. So even though they're up the top, that's simply just because they've played all of like almost the most amount of matches they could play right now.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine they have another series to go. Imagine hasn't lost a single game. Neither has 30K Violet. And so that's why tonight's standings or tonight's match is going to be really, really crucial for the standings in the division. You have the
Oh
top
yeah.
two dogs going against each other, and I'm super excited to get
Like
into it.
Whisper said in chat. You know what I mean? Looking forward to this one.
Mm-hmm.
This one will determine. I think depending on how this series goes, it's either going to be 30K Violet, undoubtedly the best team in this division, and they're solid. No, nothing's going to bring them down.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they take a dub, or if it's a hard one,
Yeah.
I wonder what that does to the mental the rest of the season. You know,
Mm-hmm.
again, I was alluding to that earlier, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We have Caffeinated Knights, DGen M up there with 10 points on the board. They've been, winning some, losing some. Curious to see how Caffeinated Knights performs the rest of the season. Last week they played Bronze 6 and lost 2-1. This week they came back, but it was a 2-1 into Vendetta. And I feel like if you're a team that's sitting in third place in this division, Vendetta's at the bottom, you should be 2-0ing them. So curious, I got a little bit of glimpse into the comms of their teams and stuff, and it was looking a little bit rough. So I hope they kind of sort some of that stuff out, and maybe getting those comms sorted will help them continue to stay at least in the standings at the top right now. They're in third, but again, it's because matches played, they've won some, they've lost some. It's not 10 points is decent, but there's still a couple teams ahead of them that have to play some matches still. DGen M, they've also just been kind of same position. They sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. A lot of 2-1s in there, and I think like we have a solid middle of the pack figured out at this point. Caffeinated Knights, DGen M, Bronze 6, Big Push Power. Those are the teams that I'm expecting to kind of be the mid to end of who are going to qualify for playoffs at the end of the season. Bronze 6, Goon. I know this is one of the teams you like here in this division. They got the 2-1 into Caffeinated Knights last week. I think they had a bye this week because I don't have any results for them. So yeah, I think I had a bye this week, so they're just chilling. But all right, what are you expecting them to do from this point? You're kind of a little bit over the halfway mark, I think here.
Right.
What are you expecting them to go from here? Are we expecting them to end up higher? Are they going to be like just barely qualifying this season for playoffs?
I think there's still an opportunity for them to go up a little bit higher, but I think they will probably qualify. I don't know how much higher they're going to go against some of these teams, but the fact that they were able to they beat Caffeinated Knights, right? 2-1 is what you said.
Big Push Power beat Caffeinated Knights 2-1. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Bronze 6.
Or sorry, yeah, Bronze 6. Sorry.
Yeah. Bronze 6. They 2-1. So then,
yeah,
I think that was probably going to be like their I don't want to say stiffest competition. That's not the word I want to use. But I think that's a team that is probably equal in power to them.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're very similar.
Yeah.
And if you can beat a team like that, I had to go back and look at the games to see like how close they were.
There was close. It was close. Did you cast them with me? Like Caffeinated Knights was trying to like they got the core to 3%.
Yes,
they needed to backdoor, and Bronze 6 was able to like hold them off and win game 2.
Yes, I remember this Infernal Shrines game too, the bush. And,
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so if you can beat a team like that, and even though like the first game was rough on BOE, if you're able to maintain and beat a team like Caffeinated Knights and overcome and like be completely unfazed throughout that entire series about your play and whatever, that's huge. That's like a massive, like the friend fun bonus buff is massive on that team. And they're gonna be fine. They're gonna go well. It's teams, with Caffeinated Knights where they take an L like that. How do they respond as a team? And where does that, does that drop them down further into the stand? And that's a big thing in this level of play from heroic div A, it doesn't matter, from the bottom, sorry, from the lowest divisions all the way up to the highest, that is a big factor that needs to be considered. And I will say that maybe in some of these lower divisions, that factor is it weighs a little bit heavier.
Sorry, Chatch is asking. I'm sorry, I'm very confused. What's happening? We're talking about the NGS Heroic Division, breaking down the standings and talking about the teams and where they're kind of at and where we're expecting them to go for the rest of the season. Let's go ahead and we will take a look at the upcoming matches for this week. We have a Bronze 6 versus Vendetta. Goon, how do you think this one's going to play out? Oh, you cut out on me. I can't hear him anymore in just a second.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. We got you.
I think Bronze 6 will probably 2-0. And, it'll just be a week. They show up, they play together, they have a good time, and they move on.
Yeah, I have Bronze 6 winning this one as well. Vendetta has been struggling a bit this season. I don't know if it'll be a 2-0. I wouldn't be surprised necessarily if it's a 2-1. Bronze 6 has kind of been struggling to get those dominations in. Sometimes they have off games, but I do expect them to walk away with the win there. We have Caffeinated Knights versus Big Push Power. I think this one's going to be an interesting matchup. They're probably semi-comparable in skill level. Maybe Big Push Power a bit better. They've been putting a lot of work in with HRCS. And now that they've played like the most difficult teams, maybe they've learned something, they're applying something. I think that they're going to end up pretty high up on the end of the division standings. Like, I'm expecting like a 30k Imagine in the 1-2 spot, Rook in like the 3-4 with maybe Big Push Power and like the other 3-4 whoever. So I'm expecting them to end top 4 for the season. So I give the win to Big Push Power. What are your thoughts, Goon?
Oh man, that's this. I think this is like probably gonna be like 30k in a match, like the match you're about to cast. I think this is gonna be the game to watch next week. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I agree with you. If you're going to watch one, probably this one's going to be the closest one and kind of has a bit more impact on the standings for the division. Yeah,
there's a lot more at stake here. I don't know. I think Caffeinated Knights will win 2-1, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be a very difficult win.
I want to see. Let me just quickly check and see if that match is scheduled yet and if someone's casting it. I was looking. There's only a couple of them that are locked in right now. But while I'm looking that up, the next one, because Dragon Strike's withdrawn, that's obviously a Team Happy Cloud win. And then we have DGen M into 7 rings. So what do you think is going to happen there, Goon?
I have no idea. I don't know. 7 rings, I for me coming into this, it's funny because I said Dragon Strike was going to be a dark horse, but unfortunately that one's not the case. And I thought 7 rings was going to kind of fall into that category, but I don't. They're kind of all over the place, and it's hard to say. I think DGen. I'm going to say DGen.
Okay.
Will win this series.
Yeah. I also said DGen. 7 rings has been struggling a bit this season. DGen M, though, I think a lot of their series, if they're not winning, they're at least picking up a game here and there. Let me just check my notes. Like they 2-1 Bronze 6. DGen in week 3, 2-1 Vendetta. Where are they? They 2-0'd Big Push Power, which is a huge one. Did I write that down right? Is that right? Let me double check. I'm wondering if I wrote stuff down wrong again. Yeah, they 2-0'd Big Push Power. And then they 2-0, well, they had a forfeit this week because of Dragon Strike. So I think they're doing actually fairly well. They're another team that's kind of like scaling. They're picking up matches, and I think people are maybe going to underestimate DGen M a little bit as the season goes on. I'm expecting them to win the match into 7 rings. Maybe even a 2-0. I think it'll be a 2-0. Yeah, I'm going to say it's going to be a 2-0. We'll see. And then we have Rook Gaming versus 30k Violet. I think this was another one that's going to be an interesting matchup. Both of these teams have been playing in HRCS, maybe have faced each other there. Did they face each other there today or last weekend?
They were 137 megabyte gaming. I think they lost to Rook, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. All right. But yeah, Rook Gaming probably up in like, third, fourth spot on the division where I think they're going to end at the end of the season here. I feel like it's going to be a 30K Violet win, but it might be a fun series to check out and watch. We'll see if it's going to be a 2-0 or a 2-1 for 30K Violet.
Yeah.
What do you think,
so.
Goon?
I think 30K. But it depends. If Rook can maintain, if Rook maintains their normal, this is gonna sound cringe. Well, fuck it, whatever. Excuse me. Look, Rook, if they bring in those 2 subs that they brought in, I think they have a better chance at winning than if they kept their original roster. Straight up. So.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see what happens.
You're just like, oh, what do I say? No, I mean, if they bring in the subs, I think they have a better chance at beating 30K. Yeah. And if not, then I think 30K probably 2-0s this.
So you think Rook Gaming needs to make some roster changes?
I don't know if they need to make roster changes. Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh,
true. Yeah. I don't know if they need to make roster changes. I think they just they want to scale. If their goal is to stay as a unit and scale, cool, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But if they're looking for an immediate win, okay, sure, maybe make some changes.
It's always an interesting conversation to have whether around like you stick with that same roster and try to bring these people up to par, or if some of these players have maybe like it's a thing, some players hit a wall, and sometimes like even though you may not want to replace them, it might be the better thing to do if your end goal is to be winning these series, winning things like HRCS. If it's not that and you're just playing to have fun and kind of like help some of those players pick up a little bit, then that's fine too. It's just like I want to say specifically some of these teams that are like org affiliated teams, that's always a discussion that kind of needs to be had around what your org's goal is in mind.
Right. Am I getting my name out there? Am I getting the wins? Is this what we're doing, or is this a more measured approach? It's a different objectives, and everyone has a different idea. Everyone has different plans, and yeah, that's okay.
I'm of the mind that like I like giving people enough of a shot at it. I don't know how much you keep up with League, but they'll literally bench someone after like 2 weeks of games. Like, oh, we didn't do well in like the lock-in tournament, and now 2 weeks and you're out of here. Like no time to even adjust or like get used to your roster really. So I like to see people kind of sticking with it a little bit longer and at least giving especially with HOTS not being as like so scrim intensive and stuff like that. At least giving like a few months to see how the roster is going to work, or at least a couple months if especially if nothing's really going on with NGS or Heroes Rise Contender Series for these players to be playing competitively. So but yeah, ultimately I think 30K is going to take this one. Maybe it'll be a 2-1, maybe it'll be a 2-0. I'm not sure. It's going to depend on who shows up. And then let's talk a little bit about our match for this evening. We have 30K Violet taking on Imagine. Over on the roster, 30K Violet, we have Epic Player, Lemieux, Zadie, Marlowe, Albatox, Nagrom, and Panda. Who is playing today?
It was Nagrom, Epic Players, Zadie, Panda, and Albatox.
Okay. And then on Imagine, JTR, Virtuoso, Richard Greer, Fatal Rampage, McNulty, and Breakwood. And one thing to note here that we touched on last show is McNulty is not going to be playing as often here. He's going to be more the sub for the team now. Fatal Rampage is coming in to the, I believe, off-lane role permanently for the team here, just because there's too many IRL conflicts. So,
Zadie says Panda and Lemieux are
okay.
swapping.
Okay. I'm excited to see that. I feel like I haven't seen Lemieux play in a little bit, so see how he does today. Was he playing earlier?
No.
No? Okay. All right. So maybe just can't stay up so late on somebody else. It's Sunday. We got work tomorrow. Well, not
Yeah.
me, but normal people have work tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as you're kind of saying, this match is gonna be probably one of the most exciting matches of the entire Heroic Division season. Not to hype it up too much, but these two teams are undefeated. They haven't dropped a single map this season yet, and it's going to determine who's the top boss of this division tonight. Goon, anything you want to talk about for this series here?
I mean, 30K, they're coming in, hopefully they're warmed up really well and they're not too tired or too down or anything like that from their HRCS series.
Mm-hmm.
And they're able to come in and play to their full strength. I want to see a full strength 30K versus a full strength Imagine. They're obviously friends in these two teams going against each other and stuff. I'm hoping. I'm pretty sure it's just going to be a good match. I don't necessarily have any favorites here.
Yeah.
I just want to see how it plays out.
Richard Gere's saying that Imagine's only played the bottom teams. Otherwise, they would be like 50-50. But 30K's only played the bottom teams. They haven't really been challenged either. Don't sell yourself short, Richard. I think you have a good shot here.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's making sure that his team stays in the game,
No, I mean, shout outs to the Girls Gang Squad ladies that are on these teams, Zadie and Breakwood. I'm really excited to cast both of them at the same time. And I hope it's a good series. I hope everybody walks away feeling proud of their plays this evening and happy with how things go down. We are going to take a quick break. We'll be back in about 5 minutes here with 30K versus Imagine. Goon's going to step away. Thank you, Goon, for joining me for the pre-show. And we're going to have Lupus joining me for the cast. So stay tuned. We'll be back shortly.
Good luck. Have fun.